All right, hey everybody. Welcome to part three. As we get ready to really get to work here, we got done with our pink horrors yesterday, which were quite the pain in the neck. But hey, they're done, and that's the most important thing. So now let's move on to bigger and better things. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I can leave it out like this as far as the camera is concerned, and just kind of go from here and work from here. Or I can zoom in and just have it sitting in my hands like I used to. Sound and video are working. Well, that's a miracle. Hey Rob, question. Why do you always have to start after midnight? Well, it's 6 o'clock here, which means I've had a full day since I've been up since 4 in the morning. And this is my sit down time, so I spend it with you guys before I go to bed at 8 o'clock. But that means midnight wherever in the world you may be. How you doing, Sean? Okay, so I jumped a little bit ahead. Um, See, I'm gonna adjust this. I got you. This is gonna be, first of all, a big pain if I don't. All right, let's try to get. I'm trying to get the lighting a bit right. On my hands right. All right, so let's just do one more thing here, and just I'm gonna do that. Save it. So I can go like that. Okay, yeah. Because I like working with my hands. I know people on other channels like to stick it to the top of a box or something like that, but that's just not me. I like holding it. I have better control of it. I don't like it on the end of a bottle. And that's that. So as you can see, I kind of started, I did kind of a bluish work here with the gold, which we did. We also used the Ushabi bone for their head, and we just got our lead belcher in there. So now it's time to start tightening things up a bit. And let's get to that, huh? Funny, I was just talking to a guy in the Netherlands and we were talking about the time difference, maybe like 30 minutes or so. Well, there you go. All right. If you have a question, it'll help me if you guys could basically just say type question or just put a big giant Q in front of whatever you're writing. And that way I'll be able to see it and adjust from there. Let's just show you what we got done last night. For those of you that weren't around, we got the pink horrors done. They came out okay. Could have probably done a little better with them. But again, I'm just trying to get these guys to the table. And I try to do it, I try not to, I try to give you guys a perspective of the any person that can do it type of thing. And I just try to simplify it down to there instead of going, well, if you take this and mix it with this and so forth and so on. This way just anybody can do this kind of stuff. And I try to keep it very simple. Let's see. We got the goblins. We got goblins. Gotta have goblins. Oh, thanks, Sean. I thought they came out all right. I mean, I could have done a little bit better. All right, it's now on to the acolytes because everything's got to look good because, we've been beating the living bejesus out of these guys. So it's time to started some work on this guy. So we're getting him there. And, we just got the basics on. But this is where we really start to do a little work here. And that's by taking some Rygar flesh shade and work it into the armor. And you can see what that's going to do. And we're going to put that right over that symbol there, because we're going to paint over that anyways. But all I want to do is get the gold areas and work that in there a little bit. Work a little on there. And you can see where it gives that definition now, where all of a sudden you see how that chest plate just comes alive all of a sudden. And that's a really key part of that. And it doesn't matter if you get it on the red part here because it doesn't hurt anything. We want to work that into his face a little bit. And there you go. We're going to put him aside. But the real thing that we really want to do, we want to get this brush. We want to be very careful with how we move this around here, because I did paint some of the white here, but we want to move this right into that body there and into the gold. Anything gold on my man here. And you could see what a difference that's going to make on him when we start putting in that shade. I always call it liquid talent, because that's going to give you all the definitions and lines that we're looking for. It's going to bring out these guys and make these guys look very, very fierce, and that's what we're looking for. I don't mind going over the mask a bit, because we're going to do a little trick with that too. So I want to work that into his legs, and I'm going to try to keep it off what I want to try to do is keep it off his pants there. It's okay if I have to touch up a little bit of the white, but I really don't want to touch up all the white. There we go. And just move that into his chest a bit and move it around and get it on the gold anklet there. And you can see what I'm getting here. The Vallejo isn't working for me at the moment. What? Did I miss something? Is it the brighter Vallejo colors? It's my off-white and squid pink. Squid pink is basically the same as Emperor's Children. Oh, there we go. You guys are talking amongst yourselves, so I got a little confused there. Alright, so there we go. So now let's do the rest of these guys here. And we're going to let those dry. And we're going to just, I like holding them upside down when I'm doing this, so it doesn't drip on the white. Probably should have painted the white last, but I was painting something else white and I just got on a roll. And that's sometimes what you got to do. It just helps you really get going, is working. You've got to move that wash over a bit. And you want to work that wash in there so it doesn't drip. And that's what we're doing here. We're just walking around. And we got a little drippage there, but I can fix that in a little bit. Take a little of that Vallejo white and just work it in there. And there we go. And perfect. Question: are you a reader? What is the last good book you read? I just got through reading. Actually, it was a comic book, believe it or not. I was reading some old Thors. That's the last really good book I read. I actually read something that I really enjoyed. I was very curious about the life of Roddy Piper, so I read his biography. So I read that. It was a very interesting book. Listen about how he got started in the wrestling business, and how hard things were for him. His views on certain things. I really like biographies. I really try to read a lot of them. I'm always interested in people's lives and how they go about things. how they get to be who they are, the struggles, their strengths, their weaknesses, the things they talk about. Always very interesting to me. All right, because I'm going to dry brush that. Well, let's just get a little highlight on there. And the reason is because I'm going to go over it and just bring out the higher points of it. So I'm just going to tickle that a bit. And you can see how that really comes in right into it. I love the old Walt Simonson Thors. Yeah, I was reading, what really caught me about it is it was a graphic novel. I have all the old Thors, but sometimes I like getting the graphic novels because I don't like digging out the books out of the vault. And I picked it up, and it was the whole Beta Ray Bill story and how it led into the Satyr and all that, and the dark, Malekith and all that. And the thing that was fascinating was just listening or reading a foreword by Walt Simonson himself. And I thought that was just so fascinating to listen to how he grew up reading those Norse books, and he just took this book and he really ran with it. It was just impressive listening to his thoughts and things and stuff, and I really enjoyed that book. I think I enjoyed the foreword more than I reading the old stories, believe it or not, to be honest. Might have been for the whites. Whites aren't. Okay, that's something else you guys are talking about. Another thing that, I remember some years ago, I've always had bad experiences with meeting artists and stuff like that, I wanted to go meet Stan Lee this year, but he was like $100 just to get him to sign something, and he wouldn't even talk to you, from what I heard. But I went and I got one of those omnibus, and they were selling them. They're usually $100, but I got a couple for about $25 because there was somebody that was trying to get rid of them. I gotta turn this guy upside down, else this is all gonna leak all over the place. I'm getting a little heavy-handed with the wash here. That's something you gotta watch. If you're getting heavy-handed, just take the brush, move it around, and it'll be fine. Oops. There we go. And these guys are starting to look pretty good. Bye. Maybe I'll be back. All right, Nathaniel, go easy. Okay, so anyways, I remember I was younger. Oh God, I think I was 20. And my favorite artist was John Byrne. Always has been. He's always been like one of my all-time favorites because I used to like what he did with Marvel Team Up. I was never an X-Men guy, but I like what he did there too. And I always thought the X-Men were overrated. Are you an X-Men fan too, Tam? No?
Not really.
Not really. Matter of fact, my daughter's going to watch, what is it, Apocalypse?
X-Men movie right
Yeah,
now.
she went to the X-Men movie even though it got destroyed. So Victoria, that's where she is. So anyways, point of the story that I'm trying to get to is that I was always fascinated with his Fantastic Four work. And I always liked how he handled Galactus. And in this Epic magazine, there was a book that he had done, and it was called The Last Galactus Story. It's actually pretty legendary because it's a story that's never been finished. So, of course, I get to the last page and I'm like, oh God. So he was coming to a place, it was called, oh God, Starship Enterprise. That's the name of the place. That's what it was. All right, you know what? Since we got these guys, might as well do the wash over the body, and I can worry about everything else later on these guys. So anyways, take the book, the last Galactus story. It was in the last epic, and the very last page, it's this big cliffhanger. So I'll give you a quick synopsis of the whole story. Galactus is like one of the few people in the universe, and he comes back to Earth, and it's completely ravaged. And back then, Nova, uh, the girl Nova, was his herald. So what happens is somebody is destroying planets and just eating them, or whatever the heck it was. I forgot what it was. And there wasn't anything left for him, really, because somebody was just destroying things. So, question, how do you clean your brushes at the end of the session? I just take water and dry them off real well, and then let them dry standing up most of the time. So, anyways, Galactus is trying to find out, what happened, and this is like millions of years in the future. So they go through the universe and so forth and so on, and they find this, all the stars are dying out and everything, and they're trying to find out who does it. So the very last page of the book, it's a watcher. He discovers it's the watcher who discovered him out of his ship, and that's how it ends. So you never find out what happens. So I take the last page of the watcher. Well, I mean, I take the book, the very last book, and I go down to the starship Excalibur, and there's a huge line. And I was in line, and I remember listening to these kids, because back then everything was buying these die-cut things and all this stuff, and everybody wanted, because they all thought every comic book was going to be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, guess what? It didn't turn out that way. So I was listening to this kid, and then, he wasn't interested in the artist. He just wanted it to get signed because it was going to be worth a lot of money. So I wrote all about it to him, and I sent him in a letter, and it actually appeared in Next Men, I think 11, my thing. So you could see my letter, and he was actually pretty moved by the letter, and I loved the response that he had. But, this was after I had met him. So I get there, and of course I'm completely starstruck, because, this is a guy that's just written some of the greatest stories I ever read. His Iron Fist work, some of the Marvel team-up work he did, which was just insane. I loved his art, everything. So I had the book open to the last page. I hand it to him, and he just looks at me and he goes, "Wow." He goes, I've never signed one of these. Now, it was a few years after that the book had defunct. He goes, "I never thought I'd see this." He goes, "You want to know what happens?" I go, "Yeah, sure." So he stands, big, huge line of people. And he stands there and tells me the story of how the whole thing ended. It was really, really cool. And for me, it was just a very personal moment. One of the best moments I had meeting somebody, that somebody would take the time to tell me all about it. All right, so we got these guys where we got the wash on them, and we're going to let that dry a little bit. I hate this brush. I'm just trying to kill it. I went out and bought like $20 worth of brushes, which accumulates to about 3 brushes for me. And then I bought like a multi-pack of these. All right, this is good. No, I'll save it. I save everything because I'm a pack rat. All right, let's see. What tool do you use to remove the mold lines from the Warhammer models? Ta-da! For some reason, I'm just very handy with this. I use shampoo and conditioner. Good one, George. I do too, with the 3 hairs that I have left on my head. All right, so we got these guys. We're going to let them dry for a bit. And while they're drying, it's a pretty good time to take and let's take some, oh, I just had it too. There we go. We got some Rhinox hide, which is perfect for what we need. So we're going to clean up a few things while we can. So, let me see if this brush will do. Yeah, this one will work perfectly. So the one thing I want to do is I want to take the Rhinox hide, move it over to the side here, bring down my headset. I just want to catch some of these things that are brown here, like this handle on these and this here. See, I could have left it black, but I don't want to. And so we're gonna just do that on the gobos. Because God knows we hate the gobos. So let's see. Okay, we got. Oh, it's over here. So we're gonna do that. Oh, you know what? I gotta do some white on those anyways. So we'll just paint this little pack here, because we'll come back and we'll lighten that a bit, and we will do these bow and arrows here. Matter of fact, I only think there's a couple of them, so it's not going to be that hard to do. Put that over there so I don't forget. Another bow and arrow guy. Okay, we're all caught up with questions. Perfect. Yeah, so that was my big comic book moment. Now, another guy that I thought was very, very nice was I don't know if you guys heard of George Perez. Now, my daughter was always a big Teen Titan fan, and when she was a little girl, I took her to MegaCon. She was only, God, I think she was 9, 8. That's Victoria, you know, the little snotty pants girl. So, so I decided to take her, and I wanted to get a graphic novel for her, and she wanted to meet the guy that made Teen Titans because she loved Teen Titans. Well, we get there, and of course he's signing things, and he's signing at a table, and he's pretty busy. Every fanboy on the planet wants an autograph from the Avengers artist George Perez. So she's waiting patiently, and it comes up to her turn, and the guy turns to her and says, "Sorry, buddy, but Mr. Perez has to leave." And he tells Mimi no. So, Mimi was okay with it. George Perez looks at the guy and he goes, "Don't you ever do that." He goes, "I will always stop and sign something for a kid." He goes, "I don't care how long I got to be here." So she wanted a picture with him. So she he sat her on her lap. She sat on his lap, and I took a picture real quick. And then he opened up her little book and he asked what her name was, and he said, "Who's your favorite?" And of course she said Raven. He goes, "I know. Every little girl likes Raven." And he drew her Raven right there in about 4 minutes. Dink, 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 while he was talking with her. Still have that book to this day. And then every year I would take her. And if George Perez was there, she would just go and just sit and take a picture. So we just have it where she would have a picture every year with him, and she'd just get bigger, and he started to remember her. So it was pretty good. He was just a very nice guy. Now, of course, everybody I meet turns out to be a train wreck. Because all the people, I've had one good experience with John Byrne, but for the most part, everybody else in my life has been a jerk to me. Marv Wolfman, right? Fall Guys. Made Nova. That's like my favorite comic of all time. The original Nova. Because I was a little kid. I was a big fan of it. I need brushes. I like the white nylon brushes. I like them too. I've got a set here. Um, these are the Lowell Cornings. I don't know why I like them so much, but I really, really do. They just work, you know, certain brushes, you know, you always hear people, well, bristle, and you need a great brush, and you need what makes you comfortable because that's what's going to work for you. Other things may work for other people, but you get what works for you. And of course, you know, I always get criticized and crucified and everything, but hey, I guess that's part of the game if you're on YouTube. You're open to share things with people, but you're also open yourself to a lot of criticism. And that sometimes is the tough part, is to take the criticism. All right, since we got this big fool here, just want to get this wood thing out of the way so I don't forget it later. Like I said, if you got a color open, use it while you got the paint on the brush. You know, never hurts. I gotta adjust this light. I just don't think this is doing it for me, guys. Hold on. Just bear with me. I apologize. I will use orange for the bows, just for the old style look. Nice call. They also had the red bows. Remember that? The orcs had the red bows, the red with the yellow, I think it was. There, I think that's a little better. And turn that on. There we go. All right. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were up here. You know, the old style stuff. I was looking at some of it the other day because I have a ton of it still. I was comparing it to some of the newer stuff, and you know, of course, you like the newer stuff, but you know, there's just something sentimental about that old Warhammer stuff. You know, it just never leaves you. Once you get sucked into it, I don't care who you are, what time period or whatever. There's something that they do that just their lore and their stories are just they're just wonderful. I really mean that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I wonder what I'm going to do with the rest of it, though. Yeah. Figure it out as we go. How's that? So let's put the big boy over to the side. Hey, Rob, if you don't get any idiots trying to rain on your parade, you will never realize how good the sunshine friends are, mate. Yeah, it's true. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. You know, there's a couple, but you know, I had one coward attack my daughter one time, and that bothered me. I don't care what you do with me, but boy, when you attack one of my girls, but if I put them out there, you know, they're fair game too, and I gotta see that. It's just it's always the brave ones that do it when you're not, when they're never do it in front of you. Never do it in front of you because that's a different story. Because then they got to face you. Then they have to prove their manhood. Because if you're going to talk something, you're going to have to back that up. If you're willing to talk, you have to be able to pay the price. And the price will be great. Why do you think they have so many of those bully knockdown videos or whatever the hell they call them? Bully fails? Is that what it is? Yeah. There's a reason for it. I have a little white here still, so I'm just going to touch up what I think, you know, I splattered a little bit with that wash, so kind of want to just, because I want that white really to be powerful, because that's going to sell these guys a bit. Yeah, that guy, that's the guy that really bothered me because I got him, I got him right on the leg. There we go. We just fix it. It's, you know, it's an extra step. It's a pain in the neck, but you know, because I did it already, you know, you just sometimes you have to just clean up your mistakes. To err is to be human. Your family is awesome. Glad we get to see him play. You know, even Vic, a little grumpy at times. Yeah, she is a pisser. She's got her father's bad temper when I was younger. No, I didn't have a bad temper. I just didn't have a very happy childhood, so I was. That's time for another. That's a different story for another time. But I'm very happy now. Beautiful, beautiful wife who made the most awesome grilled cheese ever. And she only gave me three. She said I couldn't have any more than three. But it was filled with bacon, ghost pepper pickles, cheese, and boy, it was good. Boy, it was good, I'll tell you. Question, Rob. What is your opinion about Mighty Hero expansions? Doesn't include the hero cards, only the plastic. So how do you get the hero cards? I have a friend who has a daughter that is similar. Yeah, they just go through their little phase. That's all it is. They're all special in their own way. Girls, I noticed, like with Justin, Justin was just pretty quiet, but now he's a little rambunctious at times, but I mean her, she was daddy's little girl, and all of a sudden she got a little attitude on her. But she does all right. She's a good kid. She gets better. And she does more than you can ever imagine between helping her grandmother and helping my wife, chipping in, always running errands for everybody, doing things for everybody, working, going to school, there's a lot on that girl's shoulders, and she puts it on there pretty good. All right, there. All right, I'm happy with that. All right, so we got those guys cleaned up. So we're really gonna let these guys dry because we really don't want that stuff, that wash to come off for the next thing that I'm gonna do with these guys. So I'm gonna just shove these guys underneath, and that way we're good to go, and we'll play with the next stage. Question: What do you want to start wanting to? Oh, question: Wanting to start painting my board games. What paint should I get? I know this has probably been asked a tons, and I'll answer it a ton. I don't mind answering any question 900 times. It's always good to have new people in and be able to help them any way I can. I see if money's not a problem, Sean's absolutely correct. Citadel, for me, I really enjoy. But there's also where you can go to Hobby Lobby and get Vallejo. It's, as you can see, it's pretty reasonably priced, and you do get a good amount. Probably more than what you would get for $4.50. Now, if you want to go down another step, and sometimes this stuff is fantastic. The metallics are really good to work with, and you can get this stuff for $1.90, $1.89. This is usually pretty good stuff. The folk art, you can get this at any hobby store. If you want to go down a little further, you can go Americana, $1.49. Now this stuff, it's hit or miss. I use this stuff for dry brushing. I use this for touch-ups. It really helps save a lot of your more expensive paints. If I was to go get, and also there's Army Builder. Army Builder is very good, but I don't have the availability to get Army Builder, so I stay away from it. But I do know that it's a very good paint. So my suggestion, if I had to tell you anything, is get yourself one of those little box sets. They usually have either a Vallejo box set, which has, maybe 6 or 7 paints in it, or you can go get the Games Workshop one, which is $29.99. They usually give you an extra paint in it. But if you have a Hobby Lobby near you, I would go down there and probably start with something, especially since you're not going to know if you like it or not. Pick out the colors that you think you'll need and just buy them individually, and that's the Vallejo. So there you go. I think I answered that pretty good. All right, so what do we want to do here next? Well, let's try to get these guys situated here. And I need Sotek green. So we're going to use Sotek green, which is, it'll be easier when I paint it on to show it to you. I use Army Painter Primer, same quality as Citadel, about $6 cheaper. Yeah, I agree with you there. Both of them are very, very similar. Some people swear by the other than the other. You know, I think it's just a lot of people that just don't like Games Workshop. You know, and I can understand that because they put a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But you know, they just keep on doing that one thing that keeps you in there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to smother this on. I'm really not worried how it goes on because I have to let it dry and then I'm going to do the gold over it. And that's what we're going to do there. So, let me just check something here. Okay, yep. And I want to get up in this gap here. So I'm really just not going to be too neat about it. And I'm going to get up in this gap. I'm not going to be too neat about it. As long as I get it in there, that's the main thing here. Getting in these gaps. Oops. And I want to make sure that I get it in there real good. There. Alright. And I want to get back there. Okay. Just want to make sure that I get everything correctly. Got to be real careful right here. Now remember what I always tell you. Start from the thick part and work your way out. Now this is one part that's a little tricky. So we just want to make sure we can get it. There we go. Alright. And then back here, we want to work our way up. I really like this color. This color works very well, especially going on black. Alright, let me see something here. Do you buy your Citadel paints at the local shop or online? At the local shop. It's hard to find those cheaper than MSRP. Not really. My wife found them on eBay. And she bought a whole bunch and she got them for like a third of the price, believe it or not. You know, of course you're taking a chance that they might be older paints, but you know, she did pretty good. She got me like a whole set and I was like, wow, these are great. And I'm really mowing through them. So I was quite happy with what she was able to accomplish without knowing too much, you know. Because at Christmas time, I had wanted one of those Christmas, you know, they have the whole paint sets for like about $5,000. But Miss Economical, if she can find it, she will find it cheaper. She's amazing. Most amazing person I ever met, besides myself. Alright, so that looks pretty good there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that down, let that dry, and then we're going to do the same thing here. We're not going to worry about getting it on there. We're just going to smother it on there. Just make sure we get good coverage, all that stuff. And it's okay if we get it on the parts that we're going to paint gold, because after all, we're going to paint gold, right? So same thing here. Come around the edge. You know, of course you try to keep it from getting on there, but you know, sometimes you just can't help what you do. And since you have to do all that edging anyways, you always want to do the, you know, you're going to have to edge it because it's really going to sell the model when you do that. I see a clip here that I have to take off that I didn't get. I can't believe I missed that. There we go. And come up in here. Main thing is though, don't get the skin. Don't get that skin, whatever you do. Don't do it. And as you can see, I'm just going to work here. Question, Rob, did you pick up Heart of Iron for you? No, I did not. It's only for the PC, right? Because you said something about it, and of course I looked it up. Because that's what I do. But it's only for the PC, correct? I took a look at it, boy. It looks absolutely way cool. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see here. That's on there. That's on there. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. See, that's that. It's unfortunately it's not going to be that good for me. The hero cards for the Mighty Hero books are printed in the base game adventure book on page 34, 35. So the expansion doesn't bring the card. Well, you know, yeah, for every now and then you find a lot on eBay or retail. I'll be honest with you, I really don't have a problem with the cards being in the book if I can print the book. You know what I mean? But, you know, I would like the cards. I mean, I could laminate them. I could laminate the cards too. You know, it would make a lot of sense. Um, you know, kind of on the fence with that one. I would like the cards, to be honest. And, you know, the more I think about it, yeah, cards. Give me my cards. I mean, you pay that much money, it's not going to hurt you unless they want to rush out. You know, they had those figures and just said, well, here's the cards. We don't want to take the time to print them. We want to get them to you as quick as possible. You know, and you can get them and blah, blah, blah. You know, maybe that's a case, but come on, we know that's not true. All right, so there we go. So we're going to let that guy dry. Now, do I need that for anything? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What am I doing? We're going to take Big Boy here, and we're going to do his belt. And I'm going to work the belt here. I'm going to work all in here because we want to get in besides that work, because what we're going to do is we're going to do the gold work on that and really kind of try to bring that out. So that's what I'm going to do there. So I'm just going to kind of smother this in here. I'm not worried about how it looks right this second because I'm going to go over and I'm going to paint all that gold work by hand, unfortunately, but it'll be worth it in the end because it, you know, you get a big payoff with it. You really do. You get the big payoff, and that's the most important thing, the big payoff. Because you look at it and you go, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so let's do this. We're going to work on this guy too at some point, maybe tonight. I hope we can. All right, let's get that done, or else I might do a little bit tomorrow online, but for the most part, I think I'm going to give you guys a break so there's not 900 painting videos on there. And plus the kids are itching to play something. You know, they're really excited that we're going to be doing this again on Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day that we decide to do it. We've got a bunch of games lined up, and we're really looking forward to doing it. We're looking forward to doing everything. We really enjoy what we do. All right, that that looks pretty good if I do say so myself. Smattering? Yeah, it's something like that. Luckily for me, video games have been pretty subpar in the last few, yeah, pretty involved and expensive for me since I have to buy board games. Yeah, I can imagine. Be right back. Going out to pick up the wife at work. All right, Gio-san, we'll see you soon. Lucky for me, video games have been pretty subpar in the last few years. Smattering? Yep. More money for board games. Question, what were you going to do? What were you going to do the glaze on? I am going to do the glaze on that big guy. And I'm going to do the glaze on this guy as well. And I will get to that. I just haven't gotten to that point yet, unfortunately, so please forgive me. Alright, so I did that. I got that belt. I did that. I'm not going to worry about those guys over there because they're off the board for now. That guy I did. Those are for tomorrow. That guy. Oh, yeah, this guy. Well, I could probably work some of that into there, too. Yeah, alright. I'm going to have to do that, too. Close this up. Take a look. Yeah, because there's a lot of gold work on this guy, too. Everything's gold work, gold work, gold work. Alright, so I'm always setting myself up to make things easier. So when I do something, I try to do it so the next step just kind of comes together. So it, it never looks like much to begin with, but then all of a sudden it all just kind of fits together correctly. And then you go, phew, boy, glad I figured that one out. So it's always never an easy thing. Let's just put it that way. And let's go over this, over that, go over this, shoulders. No, that's not to worry about. There we go. Get that underneath there. And just a little bit more here. So when that dries, that's when we'll bring out all the gold. The gold will cover a lot of this up. And it'll look really, really nice. We hope. I wonder if I did something different there. And just went. Then maybe I can do that. I don't know. I don't think the eyes would look good that way. I'll figure it out. Anyone grab anything at Miniatures Market Sale? Nah, I really didn't get a chance to look at it. They always have good sales, though. Nice. It's a very good company, and they do a nice job. I bought things from them that I can't get from Cool Stuff. It's mostly miniature stuff. Battle of Antares is something I'm kind of really scoping out. I wonder if you guys have checked any of it out and have any thoughts on it. That's not real. That's okay. We can do that. We can run that down there. Alright, let's leave that like that for now. I'm going to put him aside. He is a project for another time. Yeah, that was a good video game. Oh, let me see. I was spoiled with video game stuff from the 90s and early 2000s, so a lot of stuff is just myth to me now. Yeah, me too. I mean, I loved my Amiga and my Commodore 64, and then when I started putting my PC together, playing Wing Commander. Oh man, I love that game. And I loved all the. They used to have some great World War II games. There was Panzer General, Allied General, Pacific General. Fantasy General was a lot of fun. Fantasy General was a good game. All right, hand there. Okay. Oh, I had so much fun with that game. All right. Let me think here for a moment. You guys are kind of done. You guys are done. You guys are okay. All right, well, let's start over here. Well, we want the big boy here. What should I do? Okay, so I'm going to use a very dark blue there. And then I'm going to give it a purple look. See, the worst part about it is somebody had asked for me to write everything down. And I'm like, yeah, I should write everything down. Oh, yeah, trust me, I still play those golden oldies from years. Yeah, but I still find gems in the new releases. Yeah, they are just far and few between. Oh man, Wing Commander. I know, that was a great game. I find too many video games are too short for the yeah. How about all the Ultimates? Remember that? And the SSI games? Those were good. I love Space Crusade PC games. Still have the floppy disk somewhere. That was a great game. All the SSI games were awesome. I just don't know why they just don't exist anymore. It's such a crying shame. Alright, so I'm going to try something a little squirrely here. So let's see how this goes, and I'd rather do it on this guy because I can fix it later. So I'm going to paint this like so. And we're going to get that underneath there, and there, and there, and there. Okay. Now we're going to paint the behind part of it. I'm just using the same brush today for almost everything. You just get in a zone with a brush. It's amazing, and you just think you can do anything with it. All right, so we're just going to leave this blue while that dries. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple other things on this guy while we're waiting for that to dry. And we're going to pull out our wasabi bone. Wasabi bone. All right. Right here, I wonder if I should just go a hair lighter. Kind of white. Okay. Let's do the bone first before we start getting all kinds of crazy. Start doing nutty things here. Because I do everything by eye, pretty much. Oh, Wizard Tree. You guys remember a game called Fantasies? Alright, so that, yeah, okay, alright, that's fine. I want to get that. So I'm going to take this brush here. Space Crusader, still have it in the wrap from 90s. Wow. A lot of them won't even run on the computer. The first Wizardry game was what got me into, yeah, that was such a, Eye of the Overlord, or Proving Grounds of the Overlord. That was a good one. Then there was, oh God, there were so many of them. They were so good. All of them. Some of my favorite games. Alright, there's another smattering experiment here, where we're just kind of getting these horns get those and the head back there and back there, and just really kind of make this all come together here. It doesn't matter if we get it on the green fire that we're going to paint, or mystical fire, or whatever you want to call it. Got a feeling that this guy's going to pop up sooner than later, so we have to get him painted, especially for this weekend. Trying to think what trial we should do. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I had fantasies on my Commodore 64. I remember I beat that. That was one of the first games I ever beat, and I thought it was like the greatest moment of my life. And I became a god. Zeus gave me superpowers. Never forget that game. It was such a great game. Sorry if I'm not giving you guys too much of an angle here to look at. Just want to make sure I don't get any on my boy here. Yeah, let's get this. Let's get that there. All right. And we're going to do that there. And boom. And there we go. And here, there we go. All right. Rob, please email me. Joe, here's my email address. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to. Bard's Tale was good, yeah. The Gold Box D&D, Polar Radiance, King's Far, all those things. Joe, my email address is, Rob, please email me. Email me at novaprime860 at hotmail.com. There we go. Boy, I hope. I've got to cut some video this week too. Oh, did you guys see Throw Punch Lunch yet on the Dice Tower? New segment that Sam started up that I'm in also, as I'm doing Miniature World. So we're going to give it a whirl. Looks like some of the people, I'm not going to say anything. I like keeping my mouth shut. There we go. Alright. Alright, so we got his horns, which are important. Gotta have horns. Okay, yep. Neverwinter Nights on AOL. Now that was expensive. Yes, it was. Slithering is the name of the company that makes loads of war games for the PC. They do digital downloads, so you need no P&P. Really? Well, I gotta check that out. Yes, it was awesome. Part of the reason I found this. Oh, really? That's cool, Anthony. Well, welcome aboard. This this channel's a little bit different than the Dice Tower. What we like to do is this is a real community, and you can a lot of the guys that you're talking to now are really, really, really it's a I mean it's really a community that we all look out for each other, and we have a lot of fun, and my family gets involved with gaming nights and stuff like that, and you can see a lot of the gaming nights. It's quite competitive, and we really go at it, and we show each other no mercy. None whatsoever. That could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. Everybody knows each other. We make this very close knit, and You know, the Kabukis, the Shawns, the Nathaniels, the Petes, Ray, Alan. Alan has been around a lot. Um, God, I can go on and on. Big Bang, he's another one. We all meet up. It's not the biggest channel in the world, but I think that's what makes it so great. It's very personal. It's not a lot of stage music and all flashing lights. It's just a channel that just everybody comes, hangs out, and feels like they're part of something. That's what we try to do. Been hearing about Throw Punch Lunch for ages. Happy that it is live. Haven't watched it yet. Oh, it's not live. It's actually it is on. It's another magazine. So you have Board Game Breakfast. Yeah, Board Game Breakfast. You have Blender, and now you have Throw Punch Lunch. So they got 3 magazines now. All right. So, oh well, while we're here, we might as well just paint up these books. That's a good idea, right? Try to keep the same color out. It just really made me more intrigued in painting. I'm a math teacher, so my art skills have never been amazing. Haha, going all out sounds fun. Well, you know something? The one thing that I really make sure that you know is that we really try to teach you and just take and help you guys and walk you through it. You can ask some of the guys here. They've emailed me at my personal email, and anytime they've had a question, I've always been one to respond and answer. I make myself very accessible. I try to answer every single question I can, and most of all, try to make it so everybody learns how to paint. Now, I'm no expert, but I think I can teach it pretty well. I can tell you guys what I think, and we usually work our way through it together. And the best thing is that you have a group there that really supports you and that'll be there to help you along the way. And that's what makes this special. A lot of painting channels that you'll watch, they'll run through it, go through it 100 miles an hour and show you how great they are. Well, that's not what we try to do here. What we try to do here is make you great, make you find your own talent, make you find your own little zone, a little place that you're going to find the victories in painting. And that's what's most important to us at this channel, is that you find your own success. It's not what I can do, it's what we can do. It's what you can learn to do. It's what you can become. There's a lot of hidden talent out there. And maybe you're not great at it, but who cares? If it's something you enjoy, just enjoy it. And that's the best thing that we try to do, is just enjoy painting. And it's as simple as that. Did I explain it okay, guys? I think so. Easier to chat, more personal, which is great. I used to paint a lot due to ill health. My hands shake. Rob inspired me to get back in the shop. Well, thanks, Alan. That means a lot. And you got to understand that every one of you are very, very important. And that's the way I see it. You're not just a number here. You're not a subscription. And that's what we really try to do. We always try to take care of our own. It doesn't have to be some big monster channel. It's a great channel. I'm happy it's my channel. It's our channel, actually. I've said that from the beginning. It's only what we make of it. I had an interesting thing because of a Throw Punch Lunch. A gentleman had contacted me that is the publisher for Slaughter Ball. Well, if you remember, I've got the game, and he says, that I'm going to be doing, since one of my segments is going to be taking a lot of look at the underrated stuff. We always hear about the big bad games, but it'd be nice if we did something about the little guy, or some of those games that you may not know about. So Oh, hold on. So I think somebody's leaving. After reading a lot about painting, it seems like you just have to experience it and to really get good. Seeing what you are doing helps. Well, yeah, and I'll take my time and make sure you understand. Alan, take it easy. It's midnight over there. Yes, it is. That's right. Over in England, Euros start Friday, so you're gonna need all the rest you can get. But getting back to you, Anthony, it's really just about just taking and me taking my time and really trying to explain things as I go and just do it nice and slow. And I like doing it live, so you can see when I make mistakes and how I go about fixing those mistakes. I mean, that's almost as important as doing it perfectly the first time. All right, this guy's coming along pretty good. This is what we like. This is my guy. This is my character. My my fantasy ultramarine. Somebody calls them Sigmar Marines or something like that. Personally, I think it was ingenious to do. I think they're always thinking at Games Workshop. Just when you think they're done, they have some weird way of always bouncing back big time. And that's what makes them Games Workshop. All those stockholders they got to answer to. There we go. When that dries, that's going to be perfect because we'll do a wash on that. And we'll really bring that scroll out. And that's important. This base that we're putting on here isn't as important as the actual wash that we will put on that scroll. Because that's what's really going to sell this. All right. Let's get that. Let's get it. There we go. All right, there we go. So we got that scroll painted up, and when that dries, it's going to go Portugal. There you go. Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course he's awesome because he used to play for Manchester United. I still got my Ronaldo shirt and my Nani shirt. Uh, let's see. Easy chat. Makes it more personal. Okay, so we're all caught up here. And our boy Alan went to bed, so that's the hard thing is I have to try to start these things a little earlier, so because we have such a great European base. I gotta try to make it a little earlier for you guys. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just take a touch of this, and I'm gonna wipe this on here, and there we go. And then what I want to do is, if you remember these masks here, just kind of want to just hit them ever so lightly. You see that? I'm just getting the higher points of this mask. So I keep, oh boy, there we go. And you can see that, how that mask comes out. And it kind of stands off from his skin. That actually, that guy doesn't look too bad, does he? And it wasn't that easy. Piff, go Slovakia. Oh, well, here we go. Got it, Rob. I sent you an email. This Kindle Fire is a pain in my butt. Nice. My parents are from Stores, but I live in Idaho. I am going for the first time in July. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. All right. And let's see it. Yeah, Joe. Okay, I'll check it when I'm done with this. I'll check it before I call it a night. All right, there we go. And we're just kind of going over again. We're just taking and lightly trying to take some of that highlight out, some of that wash out of that thing, but leaving a bit in there so we have a little bit of shadow working. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna need a little bit more on this palette here, or this piece of paper, excuse me. So we're gonna do that. We're really gonna work that in there because then we can come back to it because it'll still be wet. And remember, if you're unsure about if your thing's got enough of it off, just wipe it underneath. All right, let's do that again. So all I'm doing, just kind of, see how it's just taking a little bit of that off? And we're just hitting the high points there. Not getting on the skin. We're using our brush like this. See how my hand is? Just very lightly. And I'm working it. Just kind of touching it like a feather. Just moving it like a feather. Like tickling somebody that's very ticklish. Alright, very easily. Just over the top there. Oh boy, that's the exact result that I wanted. And I can rub it in the areas that I want to get a little higher. There we go. And then really kind of really sell that big time. Perfect. I think Justin will be very pleased with this. Then again, he's so damn fickle and picky. I don't see him picking up a brush and doing this.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Poor dad. Poor dad got to do all the work.
I can't paint.
I know you can't paint.
It looks really bad when I tried last.
You could probably paint. Yeah, here I am claiming I can teach anybody to paint, except for my son. It's because he doesn't listen to me anyways. What son does? What son does? He got it from his mother, though. She didn't listen to me, so. You see how that right there? Yeah, we got to get that out. We got to bring his face back. There we go. And just by really taking and rubbing that brush in there. That boy. That is how it works. You can't teach family. Yeah, there you go. By the way, Rob, are you not thinning your paints down? It's probably been answered, but I tend to get focused on my stuff. Imperial Salt, insert ATM, and lose a sentence here and there. Huh? I do thin my paints, but for what I'm doing right here, I've really, for some reason, for this group, I haven't thinned my paints. You know, I've thinned them for, this guy. I've thinned them out, and then I thinned them out for, some of the other guys here, so we can get that good kind of look there. But these guys, because I've just been doing washes and I'm just doing touch-ups, I've been taking it right out of the pot. All right, so those guys are pretty much okay so far. There was something I had to do on them, and I just thought about it. I've got to get the brown out. I've got to get the brown paint out. So while I'm thinking about it, let's do it now. So we're going to take the Rhinox hide, and I'm going to take this right out. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Believe me, I'm just an ordinary painter. I do just an ordinary job. You guys can do this in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. It's just, you go back and watch what I do. It's just easy. I'm just ordinary. I'm not like some of these other guys that can do this for a living. I do an average job, but it's good enough to get to the table, and that's what the most important thing is. It's just getting your stuff to the table. Okay, there we go. I wanted to get these little sacks here and paint those brown. There we go. There's one. Okay, he's got one there. So I want to get that there. And we'll lighten that up with a little lighter brown when I'm highlighting something else later on. It's all just having the vision to do it, I guess, you know, and it just takes time. And there's so many great painters out there, and they do such amazing work. You know, I couldn't even hold a candle to those guys. You know, even some of the people that are on Throat Punch Lunch, you know, I'm not in their league, but you know, I like to consider myself the average guy, you know, the guy that loves the hobby so much but just wants to get his stuff painted, doesn't want to pay a fortune to have somebody paint it for him, and just, you know, teach it. I can teach it better than I can do it. My eyes are bad, my hands are bad, you know, everything's bad, but I've learned how to compensate. All right, let's make sure there's nothing on this guy, nothing on this guy, and I'm knocking everybody over. Nothing. Ugh. You move over. You get over there. You get over there. Those. Okay, perfect. All right, there we go. There we go. I try to look at the picture and try to figure out. You could charge $5 a miniature, and that would be fair. I know, but you know something. When you become so self-conscious about your work, I just rather not sell it. I'd give it to somebody before I sell it. I would donate it before I would sell it. Really, really would. System Shock 2 Ultima 4 are free on GOG if you use that. Oh, really? Man, Ultima 4 was awesome. I'm going to go buy a paint set at my local store. Any tips on how to prime? The best thing I can tell you, and I've learned this, is make sure that you have your can at least a foot away from the miniature. I did a video, and it's called Painting 101, I think Remastered 4, and I show you how to do a proper way to do priming. You really want to keep a good distance. You want to make sure that once you prime it, that you get good airflow in there so it dries and it doesn't become tacky. Because if you don't have good airflow, it will cause you a bit of a problem there. Quite frankly, your minis look just as good as the ones they show in the GW ads and such. You just don't do all that ridiculous layering and shading. And a lot of people do that, but what I tend to do is I try to use the wash to get into those recesses that we always talk about. And then from there to dry brush it out with lighter and lighter. And that makes it, you know, that layering, it kind of helps. It kind of compensates for the layering. At least that's the way I see it. I'm not looking to win a painting competition. I'm looking to beat down some villains. Okay, now there was something I wanted to find the glaze. There it is. All right. Now with this guy here. This here is laminate medium. It helps thin out the glaze even a little bit thinner. So what we're going to do here, and this I'm going to test this theory a little bit. So you're going to have to work with me, folks. So we're going to take a thicker brush here. Move these guys out of the way. Oh, these goblins are a pain. Alright, we're going to take that. These guys out of the way. Pretty happy with those guys. I would almost consider them done. So let's get them off the table. There's a couple little touch-ups I can do, but for the most part, they're good enough to play. So you guys are off the board. So that puts us up to more than half off the board. These guys are pretty much done. They just need a little bit of touch-up here and there. So they're off the board. So what are we left with? We're not left with a lot, that's for sure. We've got little book guys, we got heroes, we got the 2 rat guys that we have to do. So as far as villains are concerned, here's what we've got to do. We got to do these guys, and the familiars. So that's not a lot that we have to do. And I did it in 2 days, 5 hours. As long as you're happy with them and have fun, it's the most important thing. Dark Tea. My Imperial Assault Heroes took 2 weeks, but it makes you feel awesome once you see the results. I agree with you, Dark. If you feel awesome about it and you take the time, that's the most important thing. You feeling awesome about what you did, and that's what's the best thing that you could ever do. Rob and Sam have helped me improve a lot and a lot of the great techniques. Well, thank you. We do try. I have 93 metal bolt action miniatures is in which I spray paint. I have to spray paint. God, that's my next big thing. Next big thing, Joe. I'm waiting for that tanks game to come out so I can have the excuse to do it. All right, so I'm going to take some of this laminate medium. I'm going to put this in here because I really want this to thin out pretty much. So we're going to take that out, and then I'm going to shake up my glaze, and then I'm going to shake my glaze, and I'm going to take some of that glaze and work it in there. And really work that in there. Alright, so let's just keep that open. Now what I want to do is I have this fang, and then I have this very light gray over it, but I want that blue tinge in there. So I'm going to take and I'm going to work it over so we get that blue haze on him. And I hope the camera can pick this up, what I'm doing here. You see how that blue goes lightly over that? And all I just want that presence of blue. I don't want it super strong. So it's kind of in the tattoos a bit, but you're kind of wondering, like, well, how did that come to be? And we're just working that in there. Remember, you do the work. Let's get it over his face. And we got that over the top. Now, do you see the difference? I gotta fill that gap, but I'm not too worried about it because this is the first set that I have. I got 2 sets of this. I might paint this for the charity auction. Alright, see how that gets in there? So it's sort of like a thicker wash. It's almost kind of. It really, the glaze is very strong by itself, but, and you can see how strong it is. But we want it thinner. We want it a lot thinner. So what it technically becomes, so I don't contaminate this, I'm going to use another brush. Just to see how just pushing it in on the edges here. And you can see it almost pushes the glaze away in some ways. I'm going to take, and it really makes it, that's why when they were asking about the pink, it'll be just enough pink. Oh, I forgot the hooves. Doggone it. So we're going to go over the tail. And it still keeps that gray look, but it does fill, but doesn't fill. Like we could go over with a nice blue wash over this, and you would still see the power of the glaze. But we don't want the glaze to overpower anything. We just want that hint, that little tint, that little hint that of that blue. Gotta get his butt correct. And it's just enough to bring his tattoos out. So it's just enough to kind of sit in there and give that light. Can you make a glaze out of Citadel layer paints using lantern? No, you can't. I always thought the glaze had more pigment than washes. That's very true. Very true. It's drier cleaning, leaving just a tinge of the color. Exactly. Just a tinge of the color, and that's all I want. I just want a tinge of it. I don't want to lose the color underneath. You see, like with these guys here, I'm going to put him down for a second. When we had the flesh, it was the flesh. But what happens is when you put the wash kind of really changes the color of the flesh. It really changes the color of the flesh. This doesn't take away from the light gray. It actually adds to it, supplements it. Exactly, Sean. Exactly, and that's the point I was trying to make. That's why I said, the best way to do it is let me do it in front of you so you understand exactly what I'm trying to accomplish here. So it would be the laminate medium and whatever pink glaze they have, and I'm sure they do. All right, now I got to do a little cleanup because I forgot something. Ashamed of myself. Okay. Where is it? Ushabi bone. Like the Ushabi bone, when you put the wash over a Ushabi bone, it changes how it is. It completely changes the color. Let's do this. Oops. I forgot the hose. I want to make sure I get these hose. There we go. All right, so let's let that dry. All right. All right. All right, what time is it? 1 hour and 30. So how would I go about doing pink? They don't have a pink or purple glaze. They don't? I thought they do. I thought they had. As far as I can tell, it only has 4 glazes. Do they have a red glaze? Because I wonder, somebody has to have a pink glaze. Yeah, because they have a yellow glaze, I know that. I wonder if you thinned out because you have oh boy. In my opinion, you could mix red and blue glaze. For purple, yeah, that's true. Red, blue, yellow. I think green. Unless you thin out the red so much. I gotta think. You know what? I'm gonna take a look and I'm gonna come up with a solution for you, Sean. Bloodletter is a red glaze. Use matte medium to get a light glaze. Yeah, that's a good point too, Nathaniel. All right, let's get over to. Oh, there was something else I wanted to try. Where is the purple stuff? Oh boy. All right, that's there. Just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, that's the dragon off. No oil. Agrax Earthshade. No, we don't care about that. Reichland Flesh Shade. We got that right there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I hate when I'm messy like this. That's a base. So that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me. I just had it. Base. Base. Bad home black. Oh boy. I'm really dropping the ball here, guys. Really dropping the ball. You gotta bear with me for a second. Try off. That. 900 of those. I had the purple wash. I don't know what I did with it. Boy, I don't know what I did with it. I had a purple wash. Is that it? Yes. This here. Rob, this weekend I officially start my Pacific Island gaming board. That's cool. I'm going to try to make it look great. That's awesome. All right, so one of the things I wanted to try is I wanted to see how this wash, this purple wash, would go over this blue. Because I wanted the blue not to be so blue, but to have that mixed purple that you always see. Yeah, that might work. That might work. Because the problem with me is, I probably should look on how to do certain things, but I try to do everything by eye. So it's always test and failure with me. All right, I like that so far. Okay, dry. Sit there and dry. Now these guys here, before I lighten them up, I want to get right in there. Do a little of that. There we go. Well, I'm not going to mess with that right now. Alright, I just wanted to see, especially with that big guy, how things go. Alright. Now for the last thing that we're going to do tonight. These guys here, we're going to try to get some of that purple going. I mean, that gold going. That gold trim. I better call it. It's 1 a.m. here. Alright, Dark Tea. I don't want to be a walking zombie in the office. Night-night. Enjoy the rest of the session, everyone. Yeah, and you can always see it later. Laminate medium is colorless medium, which can be mixed with layer paints to create glazes. Oh, alright. Then use it with Emperor's Children. That would be perfect. It's also pretty handy for sealing and transferring a transfer to a miniature. Yeah, that's true. Quote from the GW website. See? We all learned something. Yeah, so take the Emperor's Children and just do that. That'd be perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for, right? Because you want that to be pink. Alright, what time is it? Alright, we're going to go about another 10, 15 minutes. And I'm going to call it a night. So let me get to where I was. War Scrolls. Where are you? But this Warhammer Quest, I really hope they do the expansions the way they're talking they're going to do. Because that's really going to make this game really as fantastic as I think it's going to be. Alright, that's okay. Come on. There. Alright, that's the guy I'm looking for. Okay. So, here we go. Let's see how we can do this. And this brush is no good. You could tell when you just don't like a brush. Alright, let's just get off the paint. That's black. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that. Nope. Alright. Alright, so what we want to do is want to make sure we just get those edges and just take your time. Nothing more important than taking your time. There we go. There we go. There we go. And we're just gonna clean that up. I don't like this brush either. Boy, there comes a time when you kind of lose that feel for a brush, and you just gotta keep searching until you find that one that works. Oh, maybe this one here. I think that'll do it. I think, yep, that's the one I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, there we go. And once you get going, that's the most key thing, is to kind of find your way here. And we're just going to kind of lightly go over and just get that edge there. If you guys are asking questions, please bear with me for a second, because once you get going on a line here, it's kind of want to make sure that you get it. I'm glad you could solve the issue. Yeah, that was really slowing the process down. Yeah, it does. Sometimes you just get stuck on certain things. That's the best thing about the internet. Kind of speeds everything up. All right. All right. And I'm going right out of the pot with this, by the way. And that's what's really working here. And there we go. And that's pretty doggone good. Alright, so let's do that. I may do an hour tomorrow. I'm not too sure. Depends what's going on. And then what I like to do is just, I'll do an hour maybe tomorrow, and then do a wrap up during the live feed where we'll just talk about the trials and tribulations of doing this. And let's see here. All right. All right, I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. All right, so right down the middle. All right. And all we're doing is just getting this. All right. And this is not easy going through all this. And just want to make sure that we get this right where we need to go. And get on the top of his head here. Get all the corners. There's a lot of gold work here. And this is where there's just no cheating it. You just got to have the patience. And that's where it really comes down to, is just having just a ton of patience. Doesn't get any simpler than that. All right. There we go. And there we go. We'll worry about that gold work there later. The most important thing is just getting those edges. Making sure we got everything that we need to get. Boy, oh boy, there's a lot of gold work here. But we knew that going in. And boom. Come around there. I've got to color that also. That's another thing that I need to do. Color that edge. Color this. Alright. Alright. So kinda, that's how it works. So it's not too bad. I've got to clean up those straps, and then I've got to decide what color I'm going to put in there. Let's let that dry. This gold work here is going to be, I'm just going to try to get some of this off my brush before we call it a night. Alright. Boy, there's even more gold work here. So, you know, these guys are not easy. Alright. Alright. So we got that off that brush. So let me clean this off. Since I have to be up at 4 in the morning, we've got a lot done today. We're in the home stretch of getting things ready for Saturday. That's off. And I think we did a pretty good job, and we still have a lot of work that we have to cover, but we will get it done. Definitely before Saturday, there's no doubt about it. We got a lot of guys right where they should be, and that's great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. we'll be back here again tomorrow, hopefully. I think maybe I'll do another day, but maybe I'll just do it quietly, or maybe I'll just do a follow-up on everything I did. We'll see. We'll see how everything goes and what you guys think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great evening. Day 3 is done, and we've gotten a lot done. So I will talk to you guys later. Oops. Stop streaming.